Okay, let's be real. The conversation about AI and our careers is, well, it's everywhere. And honestly, it's causing a ton of anxiety. You see the headlines about layoffs, and you can't help but wonder, is a robot going to be doing my job soon? But what if we're all looking at this from the wrong angle? In this explainer, we're going to cut through that noise and help you turn that anxiety into action. So to really get what's going on, we have to start with the numbers. And these are the figures that are fueling so much of this concern, not just in tech, but, everywhere. In just the first half of this year, the global tech industry cut a mind-boggling 94,000 jobs. To put that into perspective, that's about 507 roles disappearing every single day. Companies are saying they're restructuring to become AI first. And this isn't just talk. We're hearing it straight from the very top. Leaders like Microsoft's CEO, Satya Nadella, are saying these massive cuts at places like Microsoft, TCS, Intel, they aren't just about downsizing. They see it as a fundamental pivot. They're trying to unlearn old habits to go all in on AI and automation. But here's where it gets complicated. A lot of people inside the industry are saying, hang on a second. They think AI is just a convenient excuse, a scapegoat for something much more familiar. Good old-fashioned cost-cutting in a shaky economy. So, what's the real story here? And that question brings us to a really critical turning point in this whole debate. Experts are starting to suggest that maybe, just maybe, we're all worried about the wrong thing. With all this panic, it's time to just ask the question directly. Have we totally misidentified the threat to our careers? Is AI really the enemy we think it is? And this quote from Dr. Nandini Seth really just changes the whole game. It brilliantly points out that the real threat isn't the machine itself. It's the person who knows how to use the machine. Do you see how that just flips the script entirely? Suddenly, this isn't some unstoppable force you can't control. It's not you versus a machine. The problem shifts to a skill gap, something you can actually do something about. The real competition isn't the algorithm. It's the person who's already learned how to master it. Okay, so if the key is to use AI, not fight it, the next question is pretty obvious, right? Where do you fit into all of this? How do you figure out your place in this new world? Well, to help us out, Dr. Seth came up with this really simple but powerful framework. It's a way to look at your own job through just two lenses. First, how repetitive are the things you do every day? And second, how much new information do you constantly have to learn to do your job well? So just take a second and think about where you fall. Are you in quadrant 1, doing the same thing over and over with little new info, like a quality check on an assembly line? Or quadrant 2, where it's repetitive but you're always learning new things, like in customer service? Maybe you're in quadrant 3, where your work is always different and requires a ton of knowledge, like a doctor or a lawyer. Or maybe you're in quadrant 4, a creative role like an artist or designer. Figuring out your quadrant is the first step to knowing how AI is going to affect you. But here's the best part. It actually doesn't matter which one of those boxes you're in. From the factory floor to the design studio, the starting line for this new race is exactly the same for everybody. And it all begins with one foundational skill: AI literacy. So what the heck is AI literacy? It sounds a lot more intimidating than it actually is, I promise. So let's break down the actual practical things you can do, like today, to start building this skill. At the heart of AI literacy is a skill called prompt engineering. And listen, don't let the word engineering scare you. This has nothing to do with coding. It is, quite simply, the skill of communication. It's about learning how to talk to an AI, how to ask the right questions, give it the right context, so you get back something that's actually useful. A huge piece of this is just knowing your tools. You wouldn't use a hammer to turn a screw. It's the same idea here. ChatGPT is like your all-around creative partner for brainstorming. Gemini is your fact checker. It's plugged right into Google search for accuracy. And then you've got Grok, which is great for real-time info from social media. But don't just stop at the big chatbots. There is an entire universe of specialized AIs exploding right now. You want to make a slick presentation? There's Gamma for that. Need to brainstorm ideas? Try Perplexity. You can create incredible art with Midjourney or even compose music with Suno AI. The most important thing you can do is just get in there and start playing around.
Let me give you a really practical example of this. Take a tool like Google's NotebookLM. This shows you exactly how AI can assist you, not replace you. You can feed it a bunch of your own complex notes and research, and then ask it to whip up a simple explainer for you, complete with slides, visuals, and key points, all based on your own material. The tools are here, and they're getting more powerful and easier to use every single day. And what that means is that we are all faced with a fundamental choice. And it's not really a choice about technology. It's a choice about the kind of world we want to build with it.
We're standing at a crossroads. One path leads down a kind of cyberpunk future. Dark, gritty, where AI causes mass unemployment, widens the gap between the rich and poor, and we're all just competing against machines. But the other path, that one's more solar punk. It's an optimistic future where AI boosts our own skills, frees us up for more creative work, and hey, maybe even makes a 4-day work week a reality for all of us.
And before you write off that optimistic view as just, wishful thinking, the data actually backs it up. The World Economic Forum projects that while AI will get rid of about 85 million jobs, it's also going to create 97 million new jobs. That's a net gain of 12 million jobs. Which brings this whole thing full circle, back to one single powerful idea. The goal isn't to compete with AI. Honestly, that's a battle you're probably going to lose. The future belongs to the people who figure out how to work with AI, how to collaborate with it as a partner to make their own unique skills even better. So the tech is on the table. The tools are getting easier to use every day. The path forward is not set in stone. The final question isn't what is AI going to do to us? The real question is, what are we going to choose to do with it? The choice between anxiety and action? That's up to you. So which future are you going to build?